I'm really excited. Actually, I'm really feeling privileged to give this kind of presentation in front of you. So this is all about the Power Platform integration. I mean the as a functions enablement on Open API side for your Power Platform usage. So it's a little bit of technical side. So it's mostly we are saying what we are saying is the fusion development. But so fusion development is all about it's a combination of the citizen developers and professional developers. So I think this content is a little bit toward to the professional developers, but yeah, I think it's beneficial for everyone to have a look. So and eventually everyone can leverage using these kind of things. So my name is Justin from Microsoft as a cloud advocate. So this is my Twitter handle and this is my GitHub handle. So if you like, you can reach out to me through the Twitter and yeah, as long as you want. And if you can see the right bottom corner, there is a small link which is about introducing myself. So if you like, you can have a look who I am and what I'm doing at Microsoft. Right. And this is the link of my slide. So if you like, you can just download this slide and have a look the beforehand, or just take the QR code scan to with your mobile phone for to watch to see the slide from your mobile devices. So the link is aka.ms/gatmb21/slide. Right. I am going to start with my personal story. So let me tell you about my personal story last year. So as everyone knows, it's kind of it's very technically and personally hard, difficult year last year. So there was a school where my kids went to. So his teacher wanted to detect her student's face before starting her class, so that no one would miss the class. Sometimes the dodgy students put their picture on the camera so that they just mocking around without attending the class or something like that. So she didn't want to have this kind of situation anymore. So she wanted to make like a face detection app. But the problem is she had no idea how to make this kind of application, because she didn't even know how it would be possible, and because she didn't have any previous knowledge of coding or experience of coding or something like that. So I offered her to learn how to build a Power App for her purpose, because Power Platform, including Power App and Power Automate, is perfect fit for her to learn something and build something with only for the small for her the case, right? So we agreed to build the Power App together. So eventually we made this app actually. And so we made this face recognition app. So yeah, throughout this session, I am going to build a face recognition app using some sort of the custom connector technologies. So let's build a face recognition application. So as you know, the Power App, within Power App, we compose as many components as we can to build an application on our purpose. And majority of those components are connectors to various types of APIs provided by either Microsoft or third parties, such as like Salesforce or SAP or whatever you name it, like Google or Dropbox or whatever, right? So Power App is, we can use those connectors to build our application. But sometimes we cannot use those kind of things, because our case was pretty unique, and in that case we need to build our own API. We need to build our own connectors, something like that. So this is actually the workflow of the face recognition. Right? The first of all, we receive the face image, then store it the face image into somewhere, and we count the number of face images, and the number of images is not enough, and the application, the app, asks me to upload the face image again. And then once the application has got enough data, enough number of images, then it starts face detection training. And once it's done, then the app asks again to upload another image, then use this image to detect my face. And the face detection process is doing, and it returns either failure or success, and the face recognition process is over. Right? So this is the basic the workflow of the Power App application. And in this workflow, you might be able to find out these are endpoints. These might be endpoint, like the uploading, the image uploading, and image training, and image detection. Right? So these three things might be able to use might be able to become the API endpoint. But think of that. There are many ways to build APIs, API applications, and there are many ways to make a decision of the number of API endpoints. But this case, we are going to build only one API endpoint that rules all the workflow. Right? So we build an API application, and from the Power Platform perspective, it's called custom API. And we are going to build this custom API using serverless technology like Azure Function Set. So at this stage, probably people ask that why do we need the serverless API? That's fine. That's the valid question actually. So if you have already API applications up and running on for your organization, then you don't need to build it again. But if you are going to build a new API, then I would recommend considering the serverless architecture, because we don't need to write heavy lifting code for the plumbing pipelines like declaring middlewares, setting up infrastructure, all sorts of things. So those plumbing codes are already implemented for us. So we don't need to worry about these kind of things at all. So even ASP.NET Core API, Web API, we need to do some sort of plumbing. But within the Azure functions, we don't need to do that at all. So therefore, we just focus on our business logic rather than anything else. Right? Also, the serverless API is very optimized to microservices architecture. So each function endpoint takes care of only one domain logic, no more than two. So if your workflow takes care of many things, then you can break it down into the many bits and pieces, so that each piece can become one API endpoint, and the workflow can be like kind of orchestration, kind of orchestrated through the workflow, entire workflow, right? So, and the Azure Functions is the best fit in our case of building serverless API, right? So does it sound good? Okay. So let's build a face recognition API from our side. So, all right. So I've got the function app up and running on my machine. So for this demo, I'm going to simply use a web browser. So use a web browser to send an API call to my function application, right? So let's have a look. So remember, there are even though we identified 3 possible API endpoints, but we are going to only build one API point that takes care of the entire workflow. Okay. So let's have a look. So this is our application. This is as a function application, and as you can see here, so this is a function app. here. So function name is defined, and this is some HTTP trigger, which is API endpoint. And when I run this function app, it has actually this endpoint, identify endpoint here, right? This is identify endpoint. But what does it do? Pages capture. It's actually a web browser. So the front end, the web browsing pages. So this endpoint is actually kind of interim because we need to test it in our without building any Power Apps or something like that. It's just the dummy pages, right? So in this case, we are just simply use how this API is working, right? I will just copy that. And where is it? Where is my browser? Here. Okay. So I paste this app here. So like, as you can see, this is the front end here, and I will show this the developer mode browser. And here, if I click the capture button, so I can see, you can see on my screen, so my face here, right? And if I click the take a screenshot, then it will take my photo. So, and you will be able to see something is happening in this side, right? So I will take that. Okay. So it takes me, it takes my photo of me, and here it says, okay, so the application is running, and it says I need 6 more photos, right? What that means is, so I just take 1 photo, and it says, as you can imagine, it says it doesn't have enough number of photos to detect my face. So so it says at least I need I need to upload 6 more photos, right? So I will take another screenshot, and this time it says 5 more photos. So I will take a few times here and here and here. And it says the final one. So I need 1 more photos like this, right? Now, the final thing, so if I take another shot, and it will say something different, right? So I take another shot, then it says, okay, it takes time, right? So it says my face is identified as a chance of 97%, right? So this is what how the face recognition application API is working, right? So now we are going to close this one, and this is the end of the API, the face recognition API demo. Okay. So okay. So now we have got the API ready. But as you can see, we have built API, but it's not connected to Power Platform yet, right? So it's not connected yet. So how can it be connected? How can it be connected? That's right. We need a custom connector to communicate between the Power Platform at the left-hand corner and API at the right-hand corner. So this is done by custom connector in the middle, like this. Okay. So how can we make the custom connector then? So there are several ways to create a custom connector, like using the OpenAPI file or OpenAPI URL, or even we can directly use as a services, such as API management, or as a functions or logic apps, right? So we can directly integrate these kind of as a services to custom connector, right? So let's talk about the direct connection to the Azure functions or logic apps in this case. It is really convenient to directly connect to either functions or logic apps to the custom connector. It's really convenient, but it also has a flip side, because if the function apps or logic apps is updated or reprovisioned or deleted and reinstantiated, then the connector must be updated as well. Which means the custom connector has a strong dependency on those services, right? So it's kind of less desirable, right? It's convenient, but less desirable because of that, the strong coupling. So instead of using direct connection to as a functions or logic apps, we can use API management. So what that means is like this. So between custom connector and as a functions API, we can add API management in between. So in this case, although your custom connector has still coupled with API management, but with this API management, the Azure Functions API actually is decoupled, right? So even though the Azure Functions API is re-provisioned or updated, the custom connector itself is not impact. It doesn't have any impact on that, right? So this is something we can make use of. There is another option. What if we can connect through the OpenAPI document or URL, as I showed before? What that means is the architecture diagram may be altered like this. So instead of using API management, we just simply use OpenAPI document here, right? And because OpenAPI document doesn't have any implementation, it only has a definition of how API endpoint looks like and how request payload and how response payload look like, right? So it only has definition of API. So custom connector, we can create custom connector with this definition. And that OpenAPI definition document doesn't have any the actual implementation. So as a functions implementation, it has all the implementation here. So as long as the as a functions endpoint URL remains the same, regardless is deleted and re-provisioned or reinstantiated or updated, or whatever it does, it doesn't really matter. It's completely decoupled. So yeah, that's all good. So this is all about, so we talked about how to build, how to create a custom connector through direct connection or through the API management or through OpenAPI document. So this is all about how we can discover API endpoint. In other words, API discoverability. So OpenAPI document can do it for us very easily. So how can you do it? So let's have a look. So I probably reiterate. I'm going to reiterate how this is possible. So we call it API discovery. So we need to, what that means is we need to expose our as a functions API to Power Platform through custom connector. So there are several ways to do so. The first option could be API management. So API management is good for orchestrating many different sorts of APIs. So we can put the API management in front of our as a functions API. So there are, as I said, there are a few different ways of integrating the API management and as a functions API. So the first approach will be manual integration. In that, if we don't have enough if we have not enough information as a functions API, then we should do the manual integration. The second option is the direct integration between API management and as a function side. And the third option will be open API integration, right? And I kept saying open API integration with for the as a functions API, open API integration. So what the hell is it? What the hell is open API integration? So probably if you are a developer and if you are familiar with as a functions runtime, right? You know that the open API is not available on as a functions API at the moment. So how can we enable, can we even enable open API integration on the Azure functions application? Of course, we can do it. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. The Azure Functions runtime itself doesn't support it, but we have extension. Azure Functions OpenAPI extension, right? So this OpenAPI extension provides a actually OpenAPI capability on Azure Functions, right? And this is the GitHub repo, the aka.ms/azfunc-OpenAPI. So this is the open source application, open source repository on GitHub. So you can visit and have a look and yeah, download if you like. So, but as I said, it's not officially announced yet because it's still early stage. So yeah, so you can use it, but I wouldn't recommend it for your production usage. But there is another the community contributions for things. So yeah, you can have a look, and it's really easy to use, and as long as you are using .NET the function. So simply add .NET add package, Microsoft Azure, Web Jobs extensions, and OpenAPI, right? So only with this one line of code within your Azure Functions app, then yeah, you can start using the OpenAPI capability. Yeah, easy. So this is the actual API endpoint, right? So with function name and HTTP trigger, right? So this API endpoint can change like this with these a few decorators starting with OpenAPI, OpenAPI operation, OpenAPI security, OpenAPI request, OpenAPI response, something like that. So with these decorators, this as a functions API endpoint is exposed to the OpenAPI document. Okay, so that's it. Actually, that's about it. So I have already deployed this as a functions app onto Azure. So throughout this demo, I'm going to walk through how to integrate this OpenAPI enabled as a functions application to your API management. Okay, let's have a look. So as you can imagine, we are going to integrate this part, API management, through OpenAPI to Azure Functions API, right? So here we go. I will, okay, so this is a good thing. So as you can see, I have enabled this OpenAPI capability here, okay? And because of that, it has additional endpoint like this: render OpenAPI document, render Swagger document, and render Swagger UI. So if I copy this URL into this web browser, then it displays like this. Okay, this is the actual Swagger UI. And if I click this link, and this is actually displaying the Swagger definition, right? So this is the actual Swagger definition. So we only add .NET extension package, right? Only add extension package and add some decorators. Then it will display this Swagger document for our further processing, right? And I have deployed this application onto Azure here, right? And this is the URL. So application is up and running. So I put Swagger in UI. Then it says, right? It says our Swagger UI is running on Azure with the real domain, right? And if I click this, and yeah, this is the Swagger document. So how can we use this within API management here? So we have API management document, the instance here, and I would like to create the API. I will show you two different ways. The first one, so there are many ways to create API on the API management side. So we are going to create, we can create from the manual integration or open API or direct function app integration. So first time, I'm going to use the function app in here, and I can browse what the function app is, right? and select it, and it will display the possible endpoint. But these render thing, we don't need them at all, because these are all for this Swagger. It's all for the Swagger document generation, so we don't need it. This identify is the actual endpoint we are going to use. So select this, and yeah, remember that the name is function app. Remember this name, and we are directly using the the face recognition from the function app. So I just put the suffix like ff, and I chose the product like this, and create. And this is it. This is it. Easy, yeah. And it does all. Excuse me. It does all the things for me. And the interesting thing is, when we go back to the Azure Functions instance, it actually create another key to for the authentication. Like, can you see this the key, right? This key is automatically generated while I am integrating. I am integrating the Azure Functions application directly here in API management side, right? So yeah, this is the thing. And what I'm going to do here, so let's have a test whether it is working fine or not. So we don't need to do anything but add the payload, right? So I add the payload here, and yeah, so because the image data is really relatively big, so I think it takes time to for my mouse pointer be enabled for clicking. So yeah, ooh, wait, okay. So my mouse pointer is still waiting for being enabled. Yeah. So what we did is we directly integrated as a functions using the Azure API management, right? Here, okay. I'm still waiting. Oh, all right. Oh, okay. waiting. So now, oh, it takes time. Ah, another one. Yes. Now it's possible to click. So I click that, and this is just test. So it returns 200 response, right? And it says I need 6 more photos. Yeah. So remember, if I send a request, and if there is not enough the image in stored, then it keeps asking me to add more photo, right? So it says I need 6 more photo. Yeah, as long as I can see this message, then this endpoint through API management works perfectly fine, right? What did we do? We add API through as a function app, direct integration. Now we are going to use OpenAPI, right? So OpenAPI URL, where is it? Here is it. So we just copy URL and to here, right? And then it says display name, and yeah, the name as well, right? So this is a name, and this API comes from the OpenAPI. So I just the suffix, give the suffix like FO. The previous one was FF, and this one is FO. So I just set the product and create. That's all about it. So I will create this, and as I said, we just use OpenAPI definition. It doesn't have any the authentication information, right? Because it doesn't have any implementation, right? So we need to add those kind of the information. What that means is we need to add this key here, this key value to here, to header. So in header, content type should be, oops, application JSON, and overriding, and add another one, X functions key to be this value and also override and save it. So by doing so, we can just simply send a request to the Azure function side. Now let's have a test again, right? So we can send another payload like that. So same payload as before. So yeah, let's wait until my mouse pointer is being activated. So what did we do in here comparing to the previous direct integration? So we only use OpenAPI URL, which only has the API information, not the actual direct implementation, right? So that's why we put the authentication key to API functions API, right? Now, so once the button is ready, then we can have a test, right? Okay, now it is able to click. Now we get that 200, and what does it say? 5 more photos need, right? So in both sides, using OpenAPI or direct integration, both are working perfectly fine, right? So now this is the end of the demo of using the API management. Okay. Now what? So we have integrated the API management side, but let's think about this. We have only one endpoint, and we have very small. Or we have only one endpoint, and if your organization has like me have only one endpoint or very small set of endpoints, and use case is relatively simple. And do you think it's okay to use API management? So should we use API management in the case, or you don't think it's you think it's kind of overkill? I think it's kind of overkill because the scenario is very simple, but using the API management is valid when your the scenario need more security, or your scenario requires more complex communication between with a lot of layers of APIs or something like that. Right. In this case, I would recommend using API management because API management can orchestrate those kind of things. And API management is for that purpose as well. But if you have very simple connection, have a simple scenario like me, then yeah, instead of using API management like this, use direct connection through OpenAPI to create custom connector. Okay, this is the ideal scenario for us, right? So let's build a custom connector now with OpenAPI enabled as a function app. So let's get back to the browser here. This time, we are going to create the Power App custom connector. So we have custom connectors here, but at this moment, we don't have any custom connector ready yet. So we need to build a custom connector. So create a custom connector here. So the first of all, we are going to use API management because we have already created. So let's use it. So APIM and subscription choice and use API management. And this is an API management instance. And what we have added two different APIs. One from the direct connection and the other from the open API. So we just simply use oops, what is it? We just simply use this one, the open API connection here, and continue. And it says, and actually it fills the field form automatically. So we don't need to worry about those things. And here, security, and you need to make sure. So we need to put API key, and that API key comes from the subscription key of API management. right? In this case, we don't need to worry about as a function side. We don't need to worry about as a function side here because we are talking to API management to create custom connector, right? So I will copy the subscription key from API management side here and copy this value and use it when we are ready. So go to definition and yeah, so we are ready. So create a custom connector here. Now the custom connector is created, and it's actually, even though we created custom connector, we cannot directly use it unless until we activate it. So when we start testing here, it's grayed out. So we need to create a connection, and in here API key, we just use the subscription key from the API management. And here now we create the custom connector, right? And we go to the right custom connector and start testing. So, and the previously it was grayed out. Now we have active connection, so it's we can use it now. And here we put the request payload, right? And so if I click this button, I am expecting to see 200 response, right? It should. Okay, so we get the 200 response, and we need 4 more photos. Yeah, we need 4 more photos, right? So we can see the response. So which means this custom connector works perfectly fine. But as I said before, we used API management, but we are not going to use API management anymore. So let's create another one from OpenAPI URL, like we did before. So use this OpenAPI URL to face identifier, then URL. Yeah, and click the import. Then oops, okay. Sometimes it happens, so we don't need to worry about that. So we have another option. We have another option to use file, right? So instead of using that, I just save this Swagger file to my local machine and use OpenAPI file, right? Same face identifier and use the file. So yeah, it doesn't make any differences. The only difference is using the file or physical file or URL, right? So it fills the things, and this time, see, the parameter name is different. So we still use the same API key, but this time we use x-functions key, which is for other functions, right? So we are going to use this value. Now, so go to definition and and create custom connector. So what did we do? Instead of using API management, we directly connect to Azure Functions API through OpenAPI document, right? So in this case, we removed the dependency on Azure API management side, right? So now we connect it and we create connection, and API key looks like this. Then yeah, so can you see the face identifier here? So we create the connection. Now we go back to face identifier and start testing, and it says face identifier connection is active. Now do the same test again. We do the same test again, and it will be returning 200 response. right? It should be returning 200 response. Now, yes, we got the 200 response, and it says I need 3 more photos, right? So as long as we get this message, the connector, custom connector through OpenAPI definition to Azure Functions API is perfectly working fine, right? So this is the end of the demo of creating or building custom connector. Now, so we created a custom connector. Now it's the time to build the face recognition application, right? So let's build the Power App very quickly. It's really easy to build a Power App. So it's just a matter of time. So I'm not sure my network latency allows it. So create a Power App canvas and use the font layout. Just use face detector and create an application. Maybe it takes time, only this part. Okay, let's wait a few seconds. And as I said before, so what did we do? We created as a functions API. We added as open API definition onto the other functions, and we created custom connector through open API definition to as a functions API, right? Now, what we are going to do is excuse me. Now, what we are going to do is to build up Power App very quickly. Now, we put the camera control here. Camera control here, and it says the camera like this, and I set the stream rate of 100, which means the stream rate of 100 is the application Power App takes the snapshot of my from the camera control for every 100 millisecond, right? And if I click the so I put excuse me, I put the button here, and I also put the image control here. And if I click this button, then it will take a snapshot from this camera control, and that snapshot is displayed, rendered in this image control. That's what we are going to do now. So advanced here. So on select, so we are going to change this value, and here clear collect and captured camera 1 stream, right? So I will explain this. What we are going to do is in Power App there is no concept of variables or something like that. Instead, it has a collection. So the name of the collection is captured, and the collection is basically the list of the collection items. So every time we are going to use this captured collection, we just clear everything inside the collection item, right? And what we are going to store within the captured collection is the stream value from the camera control, right? So this is what we are going to do. And here, in this image, and it says the image comes from the captured the collection. So we are going to use just to simply captured, but it's a collection, right? So we cannot directly use it. So the first captured value, oops, URL, like this, right? So if I click this button, then it will display the snapshot into the image control. So let's have a look, right? So then, yeah, it displays like that. So what did I do? I didn't do anything but adding a function, function like Excel function, right? So yeah, within the Power App, I don't do any coding, right? Now this time, when I click this button, not only it displays the snapshot of the image onto the image control, but also send a request to the face detection, the API, so that we can have a look at the where is it in the at the app on the app side, right? In order to do so, I need to add the custom connector that we just created. So in here, face identifier we are going to use. So this face identifier is the custom connector we created, right? And we are going to use this value, this one. Then the last one is the label here. So this face, the face identifier custom connector, when we send a request through this custom connector, it returns value with a message. 2 more photos, 1 more photos, or face identified, or 94% of chance, or something like that, right? So we need to get these values. So how can you get that? So this is the button. So this is all happening when we click this button. So to click this button, we are going to run this collect function, then another collect function, clear collect function to identified, and which one? So what should we do? Through face identifier functions, and it has the person group value of just we just use hard code one, just new, and image value. So how can you send the image value? Say that's right. So image value comes from the camera one stream. But the stream value is binary data. So in order to send a request to the function API, we need to convert this binary data into a string. So how can we do that? That's we change it to JSON format using the binary data. Okay, so all good. But when we convert this binary data into JSON format, it actually is wrapped with the double quote in front and at the end. So we need to remove it. So how can you remove it? Substitute using substitute function to replace double quote into single quote into nothing, right? So we just did it and send the request and to that. Okay, done, right? So what we did is we captured the image snapshot into the captured collection, and we send the request to as a functions API, and store the result to identified collection, right? And here, in here, the label will get the result from where? From identified, and it has a value of message, right? So this is all about it. So if I click this button, it will display the snapshot of the image here. And as you can see, there is the API is running, right? So something is moving, and it return 2 more photos, right? So if I tap again, and it says 1 more photo, and if I tap this again, then it will display something different. So it will say, come on. It will say, come on. Yeah. So my face is identified of the 89% of chance, right? So I am who I am. So what did I do? I just made the Power App within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? And without doing any sort of coding, but placing some functions, right? like Excel function. That's what I did. So this is the end of my demo. And so I built a face recognition app through Power App. So all right. So finally, we made the app for my son's teacher, which is all good. So let's recap this session. So what did we do? So we discussed why we would need serverless API. And we discussed how we can enable our Azure Functions API to be OpenAPI ready. And we built a custom connector with Azure Functions API through OpenAPI definition, which is called API discovery. And finally, we quickly built a Power App using this custom connector. Right? So if you want to know more about the Power Platform, and there are well-documented site, which is called Microsoft Docs, and visit this URL, aka.ms/gatmb21/docs for more details, right? And also, if you are ready to learn more, or if you are interested in Power Platform and other things about Azure, then yeah, you can visit this website, Microsoft Learn, to take some free online courses. They are all free and no sign-in required, right? So visit aka.ms/gatmb21/learn for more details. So yeah, this is it from me. So any questions about Azure Functions or Open APIs and Power Platform, yeah, feel free to put the chat side. I will answer as long as I can. So hang on. So Kubernetes, can this be used for Azure Functions apps that run PowerShell also? The NuGet package is for .NET functions only at the moment. All other things, yeah, like JavaScript or Java or Python, and they are not ready. So yeah, this is the early stage of we are building this extension. So yeah, just wait for a few times. And yeah, as I said, so there is a GitHub repository. So if you like, you can put some issues on there and have a play by yourself. Right, Jen? Does this resolution of camera, lighting, and angle face makes a difference in number of screenshots request? I'm not sure. So it actually, so I use the face recognition API from Azure. So what it says, from the document side, what it says is if the image has detected more than one person, then it will, so the logic inside is I will invalidate the photo, right? So like the what you see in my background is it's just pretty much empty room here. So but if you see more complex background or something like that, and I think the face recognition API will be difficult to detect my face or something like that. Okay. So maybe, yeah, then that's the valid question. Maybe the lighting or background or something like that, this might be the impacting on the detecting my face. And the code samples you used available on GitHub. Yes, that's correct. So hang on. Yes. Where is my code? Where is my code? GitHub. This is, hang on, here we go. So this is the one, the so functions face recognition sample. I will put the link here. So this is the sample code that I used for this demo. And yes, so I think it helps Jeb. So this is the sample code. And yeah, no more questions. No more questions. Yep, that's all about it. Right. So if you at the end of this session, if you still have a question, then please reach out to me through Twitter, right? Then I will be answering as soon as I found your message. Please bear with me as I am living in a different time zone. So sometimes your daytime is my nighttime. So the response may be delayed. So anyway, so thanks for listening. I hope you really enjoyed my session. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. I think there's an overwhelming response for your session. So all I can say is that it